Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver
Hey guys,
now.
roadtour.com. Silver. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. I don't see all that much excitement about silver going up 27, hit $28 this morning, bouncing around a little bit. Remember, last time we were here is 2021 when everybody's saying, oh, the silver squeeze and all that stuff. Yeah, no. I mean, how are you going to do a silver squeeze on the physical side between the retail buyers? It's impossible. But China, on the other hand, and India, on the other hand, can absolutely squeeze these criminals. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. So slow and steady wins the race as long as we have massive shifting of physical silver into industrial products. By the way, did I tell you that 2024 is off the charts as far as solar installations? And it's going to be much bigger than last year? I have told you, but the Silver Institute still stays mum about last year. And they're saying, well, we have our survey coming out in next week on the 17th. All eyes on the survey. Not really. Truthfully, in financial markets, they'll never come around. They'll never understand what silver really is until there's a problem, until you can't get any, until your cell phones are all backed up because they couldn't get silver to make them, until the computers are all backed up, until the green energy people say, oh my God, no, we can't make anything without silver in the energy markets. Electric cars. We can't make any electric cars. Maybe that's why China's making so many now, because they know in the future they're not going to be able to make them. Investment demand will swamp industrial demand. And that's not good for Joe Biden and his friends. It's not good for the deep state and the market riggers, obviously. But the market riggers are having less and less of a say. Right now, what's going on, we got the gold-silver ratio is hanging still at 84 to 1. Again, if you've been on the road to really long enough, I've explained how it's going to 1 to 1 easy, probably 1 to 10. Where should it be today? If you're looking at above ground, it all depends on what determines the gold-silver ratio. If you think price is the determinant of gold-silver ratio, yes, 84 to 1 is the proper gold-silver ratio because silver is rigged. Gold is rigged as well. So we don't know the real true gold-silver ratio. Historically, before the 1970s when they invented the computers to rig the markets, historically, gold and silver had been 10 or 15 to 1. But that historical number was based on the above-ground supply and a little bit about what was coming out of the ground. That above-ground supply is already way gone. We'll never, if it was freely traded, we'd never get back to 10 to 1 or 15 to 1. It would have to be about 3 or 2 to 1. Yes, I said it, 3 or 2 to 1 silver-gold ratio. Why? Because it's coming out of the ground at 820, maybe 850 million ounces. There's a little bit of recycling, not 130, 140. Well, let's talk to our friends over at the Silver Survey. What did they say? They said that the recycling's at 180. Okay, that makes sense. There's so many electronics that are being thrown away, but even more can be recycled. Okay, 180. So you got that number's wrong, by the way. But this is the the last Silver Survey. This is coming in probably 820 million, maybe less than that, when the new one comes out. The sad thing is they're going to change the 2022 numbers and the 2021 numbers in this new report. So it doesn't look as bad. But yeah, I mean, probably less than last year. So let's just say 820 of mine production. And most of that, a big chunk of that, probably most of it, almost all of it, in 2023 is going to be used in industrial production, which is silver that goes away. It's gone. It's some of it's never coming back. Let's say 300 million ounces that went into solar could come back in 25, 30 years. But you can pretty much kiss that silver goodbye, I think. Unless we do have $2,000-3,000 an ounce silver prices, it would make sense to melt out the little micro scratchings of silver on every solar panel. You see where we're getting at? When truth and honesty hit these markets, it's going to be shocking to humanity, and everybody and their mother is going to try to get some silver, and they're not going to be able to. So yes, there will be melting fillings. Yes, there will be some silverware and silver tea sets being melted down, but most of those got melted down in the 1980 run. This is what I've read. I mean, how often do people, buy a new silver tea set? They don't do it anymore. It used to be in the past, because that was wealth in the past. Now people say it, we have machines to make our tea now. It is insane. And the biggest insanity is that the U.S. government is in on the collusion. The U.S. Mint is required by law to make as many silver eagles as are demanded. Right now, everybody's on allocation. The premiums have already started to rise again. Will they get up to $10 or $15 per coin? I don't know. You tell me. If the U.S. Mint has stopped and they haven't sold. These are supposed to be sales by month, recorded every day. The last time was March 1st, and it is April 9th today. So as for what's going on at the U.S. Mint, I have no doubt Janet Yellen, who just went to China to beg them to stop making solar panels, said, hey, U.S. Mint, stop making silver eagles. How do we know this? Because we were told by the head of Silver Eagle sales, Jack Sermon, that's what they said before. As soon as Ventures Gibson came in, she gave down the law and said, we're going to stop making Silver Eagles. And everybody's like, what the hell are you talking about? So now they have. Nothing has been posted. I mean, literally since the 1st of March. That 850,000 coins that they posted on the 1st of March is the last sale recorded by the U.S. Mint. And that's about 40 days ago. So they've pretty much stopped making Silver Eagles. That's probably why the premiums have started to go up. I'm hearing $5-6 now. Andy's got some in stock. I think it's around 5 something. Those won't last long, and there's a limit on how many you can get. But yeah, you should be loading up on physical silver right now. Everything's saying that the criminals aren't going to be able to slam it, and if they do slam it, who's right below the bid ask right now? India and China. I was glad to see that after 2 weeks of doing no trades, the IIBX started again in the beginning of April. Just like last month, they only traded for about 15 days, the first 15 days. And then and the IIBX is a silver exchange, silver and gold exchange in India. It started about 3 or 4 months ago. And you might not think much of it, but it is a way for people to get silver in India. And if it goes through the UAE, then they get a break on the tariffs because of the treaty they signed with them. So I keep an eye on that. It doesn't give us the full disclosure on how much was imported to India, but it gives us a good idea. Sorry about that. Got distracted. Now I don't even know where I am. Anyway, yes, China and India are literally every time a little dip, they do a lot. So I don't see a lot going through the IIBX this month. Last month was probably, my guess is 20 million. They've done over 100 million, which is huge in the first 2 months. So 3 months, it comes out on the 15th. The India imports come out on the 15th. India is starting up their own production of solar panels. So, excuse me, they are doing exactly what China's doing, exactly what Janet Yellen does not want them to do, which is to make solar panels and electric vehicles and use up all the silver. That's what's going on. So just chill out. Will they be able to slam the price of silver down to a penny or 5 cents? They can always do that. Absolutely. It's computers and derivatives that make up the price of silver. But with such large buyers right beneath any slam, I don't see another one coming, which means the shorts are going to have to do something, or they just keep losing money, and they lose money to infinity. At one point, they just shut down the COMEX. I do think we're going to have a shutdown in the COMEX coming up. Now, what is the excuse going to be is the question. Here's China right now Silver's trading at $31.31 today. There is a 1% import tax in China, supposedly. I'm not sure if that includes that, but clearly China is trading at a substantial premium. So what does that mean? Anybody that has the shipping capabilities would buy silver on the LBMA or on the COMEX or out of SLV and just ship it over to India and China. Even if you're trading it, because you'll make some money, depending on how much you do and you have the cheap shipping. If you do have cheap shipping, I mean, who knows where the COMEX silver is or the SLV silver? Nobody really knows what country those silver deposits are being held. A lot of people think a lot of it's being held in China, which means it's going out the back door right now. So we'll see. Keep an eye on, again, slow and steady wins the race. I'm keeping an eye on India, and I wish I had more input on China. They kind of disguise how much they bring in silver, how much silver is in the products that they produce, other than we know the exact amount of solar panels, which is that's the most amazing thing. And the guys at the World Silver Survey, the Silver Institute and Metals Focus, didn't think anybody could figure out exactly how much silver was going into the solar panels, and now we can. And it should have been obvious to them, but there are other ways. I mean, I had a hint of what they were, that they didn't know what they were doing fully when they said, we can come to an agreement. When I was talking to at Metals Focus, yeah, everybody's got their opinions. Nobody really knows, but we can come to an agreement. Well, the reality is everybody looks at this data and thinks it's the real data. So we can't come to an agreement. We can find out the truth, though, in a lot of things. And solar is actually very, very easy once you fully understand what's going on. The ratio of TOPCon to PERC to other types of solar that's going in. All the new solar is 100%, let's call it silver heavy. All those new technologies are very silver heavy. Now, I'm not saying they're not inventing a way to not use silver, and they have been, but none of those are in mass production at all, at all. People say, oh, no, they're just going to swap out copper for silver. Copper's corrosive. It's not a noble metal which doesn't corrode. Copper's very corrosive, so that ain't going to work. Yeah, there are other ways. But why? There's no need to thrift silver out of solar panels, because the price doesn't go up no matter how much you use. And that was seen in the last 2 years. I mean, 2 years ago, India imported 300 million ounces out of the blue, and the price didn't move. Last year, solar went through the roof, 350 million ounces, and the price didn't move. So why thrift anything out? Why create new technologies that don't need silver if silver is abundant and pretty much cheap as it was in half the price in 1980, for Christ's sake? That's the problem we have. And so when the Silver Institute comes out with their numbers on, I think it's Wednesday, the 17th, I, of course, will go through it with a fine-tuned comb. A few of the things we'll be looking for is the solar numbers. If they break it out, they might try to hide it. I don't know. The total industrial and where that came from. We know that electronics and electrical are booming. They have it growing at 3%. It's a lot more than that, but we know that photovoltaics, because in that electrical and electronics is the electric cars. I mean, silver is going, even non-electric cars, there's massive amounts of silver, more silver going into every single automobile made these days. For all the sensors, anything electronic needs some silver in it. So all these new cars have so many gadgets and screens and things like that use silver. More and more silver is going into every single regular car, much less the electric cars, which grew another 30% last year, 35% last year, and probably grow another 30% this year. And it's not coming out of the United States. I know the United States media is trying to play it down. Doesn't matter. China is exploding with electric cars for everybody. They got just fields of cars everywhere. And same with solar panels. They don't care anymore. Nobody cares about what the United States thinks about the economic system, because we lie, cheat, and steal. And when you're going to do that, other people are going to take advantage of you. I had an interview yesterday with Andy Scheckman. Go check that out. And we talk about the BRICS, how 2/3 of the population, or 75% of the population, is on the Belt and Road Initiative. They're trying to build out and get what everybody in the United States already has. And there's just no silver for that. There's no silver for that. You cannot electrify the world without silver the way that the U.S. is electrified. And all these gadgets, solar panels. Why do you think Janet Yellen is so anti-solar panel? This is the green agenda Treasury Secretary running over to China saying, stop making electric cars, stop making solar panels, stop making batteries. Those are the three big things she ran over there to say. Those are all the green agenda. Has she talked to the people has she talked to AOC and that Nancy Pelosi and those insane idiots who want the green agenda? California is even kind of anti-solar. That's crazy. Why? It's all because we're running out of silver and they don't want to upset the financial system. Oh my God. So get your silver in your own possession, please. I'm gonna go through these numbers with a fine-tooth comb. I already know they're gonna change some of the historical numbers. And I'm like, no, you cannot do that without a full explanation of why you change numbers in the past. Like, look at this is the latest. This came out in February from the Silver Institute. Global demand for silver forecast to rise to 1.2 billion ounces in 2024. Second highest level ever, up 1%. What? It says right here. I had it. I couldn't believe it, so I didn't even save it. Let's see. Here it is. Worldwide silver demand is expected to rise 1%, owing to a projected record high in industrial demand. 1%. What's 1% of 1.2 billion? Is 12 million ounces. I can tell you right now that just last year, the rise was probably 20% total on, and they're going to say it's like 2 or 3%. Why? Because they changed the old numbers. But just on the electricity side, the jump was over 100%. Just on the solar side, it went from 100, and it's right here, right? In 2022, it was 140 million. In 2023, it's 350 million. Over double. So where they get the 1%, 1% is just 12 million. It's insane. I mean, silver's literally jumping 200 million, and they're saying, no, it's up 1%. And they're going to try to change the numbers to make it look like 1%. And then they're going to go through this and say, oh, this is zero, and they're going to have to take away from all these other numbers because it's all got a balance. They can't be shown that they're completely wrong about so much. It's insane. And then everybody looks at this once it's printed, and Ginny Moonstone gave great discussion on what they are going to do. They're going to lowball and change every number, and they figure once it's printed, yeah, a couple people will bitch and moan, but it'll go on and be lasting until the next year. And I'm saying, no, this would be the end. If they fudge these numbers, I'm going to start a campaign to call every single one of these companies that supports the Silver Institute and Metals Focus and say, here's how wrong they are. You are hurting the silver industry if you support this kind of manipulation of data. And these are big companies. Sprott is on here. Hecla Mining. The CEO of Hecla Mining is the chairman of the board of the Silver Institute, has already said, yeah, we're at 300 million in solar. So I don't know what they're going to do if they try to put it lower than that. I don't think there's any way they can put it lower than that without people saying, hey, what the hell's going on? You're just making up numbers now. So yes, if they really screw up and try to hide the fact that industrial silver is literally off the charts and it's even bigger, much bigger this year, I think solar we're going to double again to 700 million ounces. What are you talking about, Bix? That's crazy. China's already doing it. First quarter's done. China's already done it. Doubled from the first quarter before. So yeah, major sponsors, get ready for an email/letter campaign. And then there's the big sponsors. I mean, these are mining companies. Come on, people. This is the reason I got kicked out of the Silver Summit 10, 15 years ago. because I was saying, what are you CEOs doing of these mining companies? They're destroying your industry because they're rigging markets on the COMEX with futures and options. How can you not see this? And they didn't invite me back after that because I called out the CEOs. And here we are 15 years later, and the CEOs finally got together and signed a little letter saying, hey, did you forget about silver on these strategic metals? Hey, Canada, hey, U.S., did you kind of forget about silver, the most important metal on the planet by far? Did you forget about it? Or did you purposely leave it out? And we as CEOs of these mining companies are actually hurting our industry, hurting the people who work for us, hurting the shareholders of every single one of these mining companies by not standing up and saying, this is wrong, this is a lie. We'll see what happens. So this number, this is still the front page at Road to Ruin, and a letter down below has everything to do with, hey, here's some simple math for you, why it's going to be 300 to 350 if you count all the extra panels they made. So, yeah, I'm at 350 million ounces, and they'll, according to the CEO of Hecla, who came out and said it, they're at 300, which would be shocking. Shocking, especially because just in February, they came out with this ridiculous post that a rise of 1%, which is 12 million ounces. But even more shocking, going back to the 2023 world, which is basically 22. They had only projected 160, and it's going to be 300. That's pretty shocking. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, more info, go to roadtoruin.com. I will be talking to Jenny tomorrow. Lots of exciting things. If you guys saw the lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, yes, of course, people were looking up and they threw a couple, flyby UFOs and all that stuff and strange things in the sky and fireballs over here. And it all looked kind of fake Project Bluebeam type stuff to me, but yeah, the world goes on and it's like it never happened. So there you have it. And the Silver Institute might go ahead and post these shitty numbers come on the 17th, and they might slam the price of silver down just because that's when they usually do it. Who knows? The only thing you can do is get physical silver in your own possession, take it home with you, and watch the show. And this is the show right now. A battle between the deep state, massive short position. This could destroy JP Morgan Chase, which would destroy every bank on the planet. So just keep that in mind. And how could it destroy JP Morgan? Probably JP Morgan's not short silver anymore. But the reality is their counterparties are. Bank of America is. HSBC is. And those are counterparties to the derivatives that JP Morgan have written up to 53 trillion now. Trying 53 trillion in derivatives with just 4 trillion in assets. It's just insane. This is insane. So hang on tight, my friends. Again, go to roadtoruin.com, click on subscribe today. Make sure you get in touch with Miles Franklin, get your physical silver. Go to your local shop first, absolutely. While they still have silver, do that. Andy's got some Silver Eagles in his warehouse looking to sell. Send him an email, info@milesfranklin.com. All right. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.